Okay. How cool is that? Hey. So thank you for being on this demo. Again, this is recorded for posterity, and this will be on YouTube. So those demos, if you accidentally got the link, it's usually advertised on our Google Plus page. So feel free to subscribe to the Google Plus page so you get notified about next demos. We do a demo every 4 weeks, trying to show a little bit the new things. Sometimes we go back a little bit because we don't expect everyone to see all the demos. I think it's the second time we try to activate the Q&A plugin on this Hangout. I think this is working, so you may have to find it, but you have a way to ask a question, and I will look at the questions and answers. So the demos won't be very long. There is a demo about Hawkular, and Jay, after that, will do a demo about the alerts part, how you can, by looking at alerts components by itself, you can imagine what we can do next with the full Hawkular. Or if you have special needs and just need the alerts component, that could be also useful. In between the two sessions, if there are questions, I will be glad to answer. And so don't hesitate about any question. This is publicly recorded, so no company confidential stuff, if any. But don't feel free to ask any question. So by now, everyone here should be familiar with this login screen. So have a username can do. That's not original. But anyway, I'm logging in. I've already registered these users because I wanted to have some data to show you. Here, you're also familiar, I was there before, but that's a list of URLs you want to query. And if you want to add a new one, let's see if YouTube is still running after this presentation high load. So fetching the data, this really hasn't changed. I'm just going very, very quickly over this demo. So I should get very soon some data about YouTube. I hope it's up. Otherwise, you can't see it. So it should check every minute. So if I was unlucky, I have to wait a full minute. Okay, it's here. Yes, it's up. Yay, and the current response time is below the second. Here you see that the last downtime, it's actually because I restarted the server. So I put some wrong data here. Powered by, I think, was demoed last time. So try to get some data, whatever's exposed. And so that's for the URL screen. The application server side, you've seen also some a big part of that. So here I have a list of 5 servers. The last one is actually Hawkular server itself. The 4 others are Wildfly servers that are monitored. They are a Wildfly server that I just downloaded from Wildfly and just put the Hawkular agent and run. So they are not under any load. They don't have deployments. What I can show right away, I don't think we've ever showed that, is to add a 6th server. So here I have my Wildfly. Oops, sorry. Why is it jumping? I have my Wildfly in my Wildfly directory, and I will start it, and I just have a offset of the ports because I also have the other Wi-Fi that you see. So if I start this Wi-Fi, once it's up, the Wi-Fi server will advertise itself to Hawkular. So it's pushing, declaring itself, telling it's running. Okay, and now it's here. It's been added to the list. So I can already start monitoring this instance now. So I know that it's up. Obviously, for now, I don't have a lot of data, so I will take another server with more data, like Hawkular itself. See, you've seen this, but like the JVM heap usage, again, you can change the time frame. I don't have a lot of data here. I started it this morning, so I go back to 1 hour. This you've seen, as I think, the garbage collection durations. So there was a spike at this point, deployments, you've seen that. So the list of deployments for this application. Unfortunately, what I was also supposed to demo today was how to add a deployment. I think we are missing it by a day or two, according to the engineers team. So next time, we'll definitely be able to show you how to add a deployment to a running server. So that's going to be interesting. The rest hasn't changed. Web metrics also hasn't changed. Data sources also hasn't changed. Still have the metrics. What may be new or haven't been demoed depends on the cases or the settings for the alerts. So here you see data source alert settings, and you can say, well, if there's less than 10 available connection or more, 15, 20, whatever, let this user know. So at this time, I have, I can cancel it. I have 19 connection available. We have set the max to 20. So we are very, very low in use. Obviously, I'm the only one using this server. So that's pretty basic. And the responsiveness also of the data source, wait time, question time, and again, be notified using the alert component that we'll see more in details after here. For the web, we don't have yet some settings, but for JVM, we do. So for JVM, we also have the ability to set up alerts. So if you're familiar with the RHQ, you'll see that it's much more customized to the use cases. In RHQ or other tools, you will have something very, very generic, and you say you have a metric name, and you say if it has to be above, below, between, whatever. Here we kind of give you a frame so that it's easier to use. Here you have the heap usage, non-heap usage, garbage collection. So you can say about the duration of garbage collection. So you don't have a long list of metrics to pick and try to understand what it is. Now we have classified, we have made what people typically use. Like for instance, they will typically use a percentage, like the heap usage. If it's above 80% in percentage, you want to be notified. On the right side, we actually give you the absolute value in this case. So yeah, so I wanted to show you that the last one hasn't changed. It's still in the URLs, and let's say here, let's take YouTube for instance, and well, availability alert was already there, and maybe I would just show you one example. I will just put if the response time is above 300 milliseconds, which is always true if you see on the graph, for 30 seconds. Oops, yeah, 30. I mentioned that before. Send an email to hawkular@medinature.com. And I'm saving this one. Okay. And so you see the threshold, I have changed it, and you see it here. So it was already there. You're probably familiar with that. So now what I'll probably do is show you Medinature. So well, Medinature is just because I don't want to use my personal email, but if you don't know Medinature, it's you put any address at medinature.com and you have like an inbox to see the emails. So nothing here, right, for now. It will come at some point. There's no alert yet. No alert has been fired. It should come at some point. So if I can zoom in, okay. So while this is going on, it should happen. Oh, say here it is. I have my alert that happened. It's about the response time. So the response time has been above my threshold for more than 30 seconds. Here, 40 seconds, because I think it's checked every 20 seconds or something. It gives you the average response time in that 40 seconds time frame. So if I'm right, I should have received an email. Yeah, nope. Oh, yes, it is. Here it is. So yeah, I got my email notifying me that, yes, the response time has been greater than threshold for YouTube. The threshold was 300 and the average response time was 693 milliseconds. And I can resolve the alert here, and I should get an email. Well, usually it would be like more interesting if it's from several persons, right? Someone has resolved the alert, and I'll get the alert that the message that, okay, it's been resolved. It's all green. Thank you. So that's about yeah, the alert settings panels and something we haven't really showed. I think we haven't showed up to the email for the alerts. So there are more plugins available in the backend. Like you can send SMS with Twilio, or you can use a push notification on the mobile phone thanks to the AeroGear UPS. I might have a demo after that. Oh, not for the, I think it's for the SMS, not sure. Let's see what G has. Anyway, the other new things in this milestone is more for, it's completely for Red Hat customers. Say you are monitoring enterprise application platform or JBoss Data Grid or Fuse or whatever, and you need to open a case, or you need to, you're in the management console, you see that the EEP is behaving not right or another product, and you have some questions. What we have added here, access to Red Hat Access. So here, for instance, I can go, first I need to log in. So engineering dash. My password is stored somewhere. This is just to get my password, so don't be confused. So I need to log in, right? The knowledge base articles are accessible to people who have a Red Hat subscription. So I can log in here, and I can ask question. Why is my JBoss portal too fast? I'm not sure we get an answer on that. No solutions found. I won't ask for too slow, so I will ask just portal. So you can ask for anything. That's what I want you to also express. So here portal turns a bunch of results, right? It was not very, very specific, but you can have, we'll suggest some solutions to maybe your problem. So for instance, here the issue is that people could not access web portal here, and they get this message. And where's the solution actually? I'm not very familiar actually with this thing. Yes, here you have the resolution that is displayed, right? The other thing that is available is case management. So actually, since we have GSS on the line, if I open a John ticket, is it bad for testing? Sorry. Oh, if it's on YouTube, it will take some time to answer. So hopefully I can get the answer. So yeah, obviously use my account, my username. I can choose the product where I want to file a case on. JBoss Operations Network sounds fine. 3.3, let's say 3.3.3, the latest one. Here again, there are some recommendation. I'm not sure that they're relevant here, but it depends on what you're typing. When I start, oh, okay. Larry said it's fine, so we continue with that summary. I can't upgrade to John 3.2. Okay, not sure that's very relevant, but anyway, if I blah blah test, ignore me, please. So anyway, I think if you get a more concrete question problem, maybe the suggestions will be a bit better. But anyway, so I can fill in my case form here, and you may have low is fine. That's great. You may have files that you want to attach. So later, the idea is that you directly the software will propose you to attach some log files or whatever. But here, if you have saved the log file, you can take it, attach it to the case, and then you can submit your case. Now I have my case opened. If you have access to Red Hat Access, you see the same view, right? So here, just extracted on this console. So I'm good here, and again, the last thing is view your cases. So okay, I have the case that I just opened, and the other one is irrelevant. All right, so that was the demo for Red Hat Access, and so what we call the connected customer. I think I'm done with the demo, what I wanted to show. So if there are questions, feel free. Maybe the easiest way to reach me is right now is to use the question plugin in Google Plus if you're there, or you can ask in Hawkular, well, #Hawkular IRC chat room on Freenode. If there's no question, then I will just pass the ball to Jay to talk about alerts. So I don't see any question. Wait, actually, no, I don't see any question. Oh, okay.
Can you guys hear me?
I do hear you.
Yes. Okay. And can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I see.
And if you can mute, because I have an echo, probably be good. All right. So Thomas just showed the Hawkular demo, and one thing you notice about alerting in Hawkular is that it's completely embedded, which is really good because, as he mentioned, in our HQ, we had a situation where you were given a lot of flexibility with alerting, but it was often not easy to get going with it. Hang on one second. Someone just pinged me. Maybe you're trying to tell me something. Okay. What we wanted to do in RHQ, or what we wanted to do in Hawkular, was have alerting be really easy to set up, and I think that's what we just saw in the last demo. In RHQ, alerting was more difficult to use, and it had another feature about it, which was that it was completely embedded in RHQ as a subsystem. You couldn't use it outside of RHQ. In Hawkular, we're trying to componentize, and as you know, with Hawkular metrics, you can use that as a standalone component. With Hawkular alerting, that's one thing we wanted to now point out, which is that you can use Hawkular alerting in a standalone fashion as well. So that's kind of what this demo is about, and to also show a bit of the features of alerting, but also in a standalone way. So one thing you can do now, and there's a blog about it, which is at the hawkular.org location that Lucas put together, and it tells you all about how to get started with standalone. We want to show that it's not hard. That's kind of the point of the demo here. What we're going to do is just try to set up a short demonstration of how to do that. So what I've got here is a vanilla Wildfly 901, and I've deployed into it, using the deployments directory, embedded Cassandra, and alerting, and a bunch of these alert action types. If you're not familiar with the alerting actions, they're basically plugins. So you can have a lot of different opportunities for doing your notifications and taking action on an alert. In this demo, unfortunately, we're not going to have an SMS, but there is an SMS plugin that's tied in with Twilio. We've got a file-based action. We've got email, which is what we'll show here. There's integration with AeroGear. You could use the JBoss push server. There's a PagerDuty integration, and so forth. And it's not that hard to add more plugins.
Sorry, if you can go full screen and zoom in to show more terminal, that will help.
Is it too hard to read that? I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure how to increase the size of the command window, unfortunately.
Yes. Yeah.
Windows. Well,
fade it out.
Just take it for granted that there's Cassandra deployed and alerts deployed in a vanilla Wildfly, and that's kind of what we're looking at. Hope maybe you can see this better, I hope. Can you guys make that out? I'll assume so. All right.
It's probably hard on the YouTube.
The good news is that if you can't see this very well right here, these scripts that I'm showing are completely in the blog and available on GitHub. So I'll just, if you can't make it out, I'm just going to talk through it. And you should be able to follow this demo up directly by going to that blog at the hawkular.org page, and you'll be able to do exactly what I'm doing for the most part. So what can we do to create triggers to get started with Hawkular alerting? In this demo called create definition check process.sh, you've got a situation where we're just creating an email action that we're going to use on our triggers. We've got a function to create a trigger called check Firefox process. It's an availability trigger, which is just going to fire when Firefox is not running. As you can see down here, we're going to add a single condition. If it's not up, we're going to fire. What we also wanted to show in this demo is the auto-resolve capability that's built into Hawkular alerting. So what that means is we've got basically one trigger with two different conditions. We have a firing condition, which says if Firefox is not up, we want to fire. At that point, we're going to stop firing so that we don't repeatedly fire, and we're going to switch to auto-resolve mode. And in auto-resolve mode, we kind of we set up the conditions that say that my problem situation is over. This is something that Hawkular is not using just yet, but you should see in the future. So what we've got is the ability to say, if Firefox is not up, fire an alert, and then stop firing an alert. At that point, switch to auto-resolve and look for Firefox to be back up again. When it is back up, go ahead and resolve my alert automatically, and then go back into firing mode. So you're basically flip-flopping back and forth, looking for a problem scenario, then looking for a resolution scenario. That's what we're setting up in this script. And let me try to execute that script. I apologize that this is too small. I should do more demos so that I get this set up better. But I'm going to basically execute the create definition check process.sh. I've got my server running in another window already, so with any luck, this should create our trigger. Email action created, trigger created, not up condition created for auto resolve. So hopefully this would be better. Let's take a look, and we'll just send a REST call. So alerting has a complete REST API for doing everything client-wise. I'm going to just look for my triggers, and I can see that I have this one trigger again now. It's called Firefox process. Let me see if I can actually do this a little bit better. So here's my trigger that I got returned from the REST call. We can see that auto resolve option is on. I'm going to resolve alerts automatically if I meet my auto resolve conditions. I've got an email action that's going to send email if this thing triggers, and it's enabled. So far so good. Now let's see if we can get this to fire. So I have another small script which is just going to check to see if Firefox is running, and I'm going to execute that now. Called send data check process. I do have Firefox running at the moment, so you can see that it's starting to send up. So you can send data basically again via REST straight to alerting for evaluation. That's what we're doing now. Every 5 seconds we're sending a thing. So, and we can tell that in here, let's see if we have any alerts at the moment. And we don't. You can see down here. Let me take down. So here's Firefox. This is that blog I'm talking about, by the way, hawkular.org. Right, it's the most recent blog about talking about auto-resolve triggers, and that one also leads to a second blog which Lucas put together about using as standalone. So if you just go through those first two, you'll be able to recreate most of what's going on here. So let me take down Firefox. We should see this switching to down. There it goes down, and that should be enough to generate an alert. Let's see. Should be enough to generate an alert. That's going to make for a bad demo. Why would that not be executing? Demo gods are angry. I don't know why. My trigger was enabled, right? Oops, wait. Sorry, guys. Quickly triage, but I'm not sure. Auto resolve up. Conditions are there. Well, I can't explain what I did wrong in the demo. I apologize. So let's see if it's worth moving forward or not. Probably not, because the next thing I was going to do was show basically how we act. I was going to show the life cycle for acting that alert. And that is not happening. So, not sure. I guess I'm going to have to call the demo. I apologize. Of course, it worked many times before.
I'll mute you for the echo, and I'll just go back a little bit, and if in the 2 minutes you manage to resolve the issue, then we can continue. Okay.
All right.
Just wanted to do a little bit more background. All right. So yeah, I hope everyone understood that like 4 weeks ago, ICO made the demonstration using R to push metrics and store metrics with the Hawkular metrics component. This time we are showing you purely the alert component. So obviously it should have worked. So the alert component is rule-based, is based on a rule-based engine, and provide the REST API to not only push your data. This data is not stored. Just if you need to just push data to evaluate against rules that can take multiple parameters, multiple data, and trigger the alert. So it's a web application running on an application server, and you define your alerts. You push your data, and once the conditions are met, triggers an alert in most cases, except maybe here. And yeah, Jay was talking about the plugins, so like notification plugins and how you want to notify people. So it could be for notifying people, send an email, send an SMS, and talk to some services for operators. But it could also be conditions to do auto scaling, for instance. So if you have conditions and say, well, if my CPU on several machines is above 90%, it's probably time to start a new container or a new VM. So you can script that and use the alert mechanism to do this kind of operations. So it's not about notifications here. It's about taking actions based on parameters. So that said, I'll see if Jay has anything.
No, I mean, I apologize. I really I'm not exactly sure what it is. I'm sure I did something wrong in the setup, but I can't figure it out on the fly. It's been working, of course, really well before the demo. But yeah, so I'll unfortunately just have to summarize. But basically, what we're trying to show here is the fact that you've got alerting wrapped in Hawkular, but it's also a component. And we want to make sure that people realize that if you want to just try to use alerting yourself in a project, you should be able to do that using a standalone. So you can, it's basically a separate build flag. You're going to do an alerts build of -p standalone. You're going to get something that you can drop into vanilla Wildfly and get off and running. I'm sure that what I did here is something silly. But feature-wise, you saw that there's the auto resolve, which is a very powerful feature. There's a lot of other things that you can do. There's multi-condition triggering. There's all condition versus any condition type matching. You can do a lot to alter your firing rate. So we've got something called dampening, which I was also going to show, which means that let's say I didn't want to fire an alert every single time I saw a down availability for Firefox, but I wanted to make sure that it really was down. You can dampen that by saying it needs to be reported down 3 times in a row. It needs to be reported down 3 times out of 6. It needs to be down for a certain amount of time. So there's a lot of firing rate dampening that you can put in place. We are working on, we have an integration with Hawkular metrics, which allows you to do external alerting, which is a way that you can have another process out there querying something, looking for various events, alert on those to leverage the action infrastructure that's there. We've got group triggers coming in the relatively near future. So you can find us in the usual place. And when I figure out what I did wrong in this demo, I will certainly publicize that. I apologize. So that's it, Thomas.
Thank you, Jay.
Yep.
I meet you. All right. So I think this concludes the demo. As you can see, there's a lot of work again in the backend in the component. So we are eager to use that more in Hawkular itself. So use that flexibility to address again particular use cases. That's what we'd like to do, and management of application. So your e-commerce website may be done for multiple reasons from different sides. A slower machine may not be a bad thing if coupled with the activity of the users. If you see the activity of users growing, yeah, it's normal that maybe it's a bit less fast, but maybe you would trigger some auto scaling to catch up on that. If the load is decreasing, but your machines are going slower, then you have a problem. You should probably call the developer guys fast, because there's likely a problem somewhere. I mean, I'm simplifying the picture, but we need this powerful alert mechanism for being able to do also root cause analysis, coupled with all the metrics collection we are doing. There's someone working also on prediction of incidents. So looking at your metrics, how it's going, so it can tell you that in a few days or in a few months or a few hours, you'll be in troubles. Maybe it's as simple as you're using 100 megabytes of data every day, and because of the size of your disk, you know by average that, okay, in a month you'll be out of disk space, so you want to notify someone to put a new disk. It could be more complex, or it could be that you could also maybe detect that there is a memory leak in your application because you're consuming more and more memory while there's no more and more load, right? So this is work in progress. We are from the console. We are still at the beginning. We hope to show you more and more every 4 weeks demo. So thanks for being on this demo. Again, this is recorded. Again, we have the Google plus Hawkular page. Hawkular.org is the landing place, and on Freenode, IRC chat pound Hawkular, and you'll find us. So thanks again, and talk to you in 4 weeks. Bye bye.